Hi there. My name is Macy Shimon, and I'm in the process of receiving my Master's in Environmental Science at Villanova University by studying the impacts of salinity change on greenhouse gas emissions in tidal marsh ecosystems, and in my case, specifically the Delaware River. So why is this something we care about? Well, as the world continues to undergo global change as a response of human actions, we start to see that ecosystems are responding accordingly. So as we start to see warming waters and melting ice caps, we, as a consequence, start to see sea level rise and saltwater intruding into previously freshwater ecosystems. And this is something to be a little bit concerned about, as tidal marsh ecosystems are actually very important to you and I. So outside of mitigating storm surge, they also do really important things like act as biogeochemical hotspots. And for me, that's especially what my thesis is focusing on. So essentially, all this means is that marshes host myriad microorganisms that are doing a lot of hard work for us. They're cycling chemical species like carbon and nitrogen throughout the air, water, and soil, which means marshes are also naturally producing greenhouse gases, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, as we start to see more instances of sea level rise and saltwater intrusion, and therefore changing ecosystems, changing habitats, as a consequence, we start to see a change in how these greenhouse gases are emitted, whether in quantity or, in this case, severity. And while a lot of my research has shown that carbon especially has been focused on in response to salinity change, there hasn't been a lot of research done on nitrogen cycling in particular. And this is important because nitrous oxide, which is another greenhouse gas, actually has a global warming potential 300 times that of carbon dioxide. So in different scenarios of sea level rise, there's actually a possibility that we might be emitting more nitrous oxide than carbon or carbon dioxide, which means we're going to be having a lot more issues a lot quicker. So the way that I'm studying this is I've been performing a 12-week study. It's both field and lab-based. And so over the summer, 102 soil cores were collected from 3 different sites of 3 different salinities along the Delaware River. And so over the course of 12 weeks, these cores are actually in the greenhouse of Villanova, being subjected to a simulated tidal cycle and 4 different simulated sea level rise scenarios. And in order to determine what sort of impact these sea level rise scenarios have at 4 different time points along the 12 weeks, I section a bunch of the cores, throw them into different vessels, and then try to get a sense by measuring the greenhouse gas emissions, what the overall global warming potential can be of these different scenarios. And at the end, I'll ideally have a good idea of what 12 different scenarios might look like in terms of their greenhouse gas emissions and their overall global warming potential. Thank you.